Hey guys, we have a new moon occurring on October 27th or 28th, depending on where you live. For us here on the East Coast, it's October 27th at 11:38 p.m., I believe. And it is a new moon in the sign of Scorpio. The sun has just entered Scorpio. I'm back on October 22nd. So I'm always real with you guys, and I always will tell you the truth about what the energy is primed to be like. Now, when I say that, it just means, there's always like an overall collective vibe, and some people feel it much more than others, dependent on how sensitive you are or how much you follow in the world of astrology and tarot, and if you believe in the otherworldly, and if you get readings and things like that, then you will resonate with this more. But the reality is that when it comes to astrology just is what it is. And, you can sit there and try to punch holes in it, but the reality at the end of the day is that everything is very interconnected and there are no mistakes with timing and the way that things are. What I'm getting at is this new moon is at 4 degrees of Scorpio. When the sun moves into Scorpio, like it just did a couple of days ago, Scorpio rules over the underworld. It's ruled by planet Pluto, which is all about rebirth and death and transformation and all of that deep stuff, right? So when the sun goes into Scorpio at this time of year here on the East Coast and Northern Hemisphere, it's very it's like the sun dips down into the underworld, right? If you want to get metaphorical, it dips down into the underworld. The days get shorter. It gets darker earlier. Darkness kind of creeps back up into the light. So basically, anything that is hidden at this time could be brought to light. Now, this video could be triggering for some people, so I'm sorry, I'm just always honest. In other words, if you are in the midst of something in your life that's not necessarily, kosher or on the up and up, it is likely that it could be uncovered at this time. So you want to be careful. You want to retrace your steps. You want to look at things that potentially you could have done that could be harmful to other people, to yourself, and try to make it right by the light of this moon, because it is quite possible that with this new moon in Scorpio on the 27th and then leading up to the next full moon in November, it is quite possible that things will be coming up to the surface that you might not want to be brought up to the surface. So the more damage control that you can do now by being honest where you need to be, or apologizing where you may need to, or acknowledging your truth, whatever that may be, anything that could help you to mitigate perhaps any type of negative energy that could be surrounding you or a situation in your life at this time, then do so. Because with this new moon in Scorpio, I'm also going to say it is definitely, I said the last couple of weeks have been intense, and we're building up to more and more intensity by the end of this year. And this new moon is no different. It's just kind of like a carryover from the last Aries full moon, which I don't know how you experienced that one, but to me, that one was just like, whoof, that was very intense. The past couple of weeks have been very intense. There's been a lot going on. There's exhaustion. There's a whole lot. So taking this back to the astrology for a moment, this new moon is making one planetary aspect that's extremely significant, and what it is doing is it's opposing the planet Uranus at a very, very close orb, close degree. It's very tight, meaning it's very much felt. So Uranus, when you think about that planet, what it represents change, unexpected change, shocking change, things coming out of the blue. It's like all those things that we can't really plan for because we don't see them coming, right? And new moons are a time of new beginnings, fresh starts, usually an invigorating time, which it still will be in some capacity. But with Uranus here as the biggest power player, you just don't know what you're going to get. So being extra vigilant, let's just say, extra on top of your finances, your relationships, things that are important, things that are significant, that's all you really can do is to try to be anyway, as much in control as you possibly can, because with this new moon opposite Uranus, the control factor is really not in our hands. And I also want to mention that with a aspect like this to the new moon so tight, and this is not to scare anybody, and this doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just like a FYI. Uranus can also lend to accidents when we're not careful. So, because there's an edge to the air, there's impulse. So you want to be careful that, especially if you're somebody who works with electricity, instruments, machinery, whatever, drive all day for a living. Be very careful, be very mindful. Have eyes in the back of your head, literally, because with this kind of an aspect, things can come out of nowhere. And if you're not paying attention, that's the key. If you're not paying attention, if you're asleep, that's when you get blindsided. But if you are aware, and if you are thinking, and if you are trying to stay in your highest vibration, right, in your higher self, you will likely be able to kind of skate past any big disruption. However, obviously we can't always control, weather disruptions and things like that. But, with this particular new moon, with this Uranus aspect, it is definitely going to be, it could be shocking, it could be electric, it could bring things out into the light. But what is brought out into the light could very well be needed and necessary to be brought. It does not have to be negative at all. It could be just what's needed for you to advance you on your, on your growth, on your journey, whatever. It could just be a simple fact of, some truth gets revealed to you. It could be little, it could be big, but whatever it is, it will not be expected. That's the key right now. So definitely treat this new moon as a positive time, like all new moons are, because I really do believe that our thought patterns, our vibrations that we put out can alter outcomes sometimes. So it's almost like, keep it in your awareness that you're going to be more conscious of what you're doing, where you're going, who you're with, any wrongdoings you may have experienced by your hand or at the hand of others, and trying to work through that in a very positive way. I really feel that by doing that, you can actually potentially like pray it out. I tell my clients that all the time. If we see something negative that they need to be careful of, I will always say to them, if you don't like what I say here or what I see, or you don't like that path, or you don't think that's the right, pray it out. I mean, that's all you can do, right? Intention is everything. I really believe that. I mean, obviously, like I said, with Uranus, you can't control everything, but intention really is everything. And I think that the more aware we are and the more we try to just honor and own where we are, it really does help. It makes a big difference. I'm going to pull a tarot card for this new moon energy just to see what we get. Okay. And if anybody would like a private consultation, because I do feel like this Scorpio season and this new moon straight up through the end of 2019 is going to be a very intense time for a lot of people. There's a lot going on within relationships and finances especially. So yeah, if you feel like you need some guidance or some clarity, make sure you click on my website below, lisasalvatore.com. If you don't see something that works with your schedule, you can always shoot me an email and we can find a time that works for you. All right, let's look at this. What card do we want to pull for this new moon? Okay, so I pulled the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles it's like not feeling satisfied necessarily with where you are right now, like feeling like you could be doing more and that you've been working so hard and that you're feeling like, you're just not getting where you need to go. You're just not getting there. It's like when you look at the number, a 7, right, you have to get all the way to the 10, and the 10 closes out the cycle. A 7 is like the time of fruition and abundance, and like looking back at taking stock at what you've done so far and what you've accomplished. And because Pentacles typically do rule over finances, this could be your financial situation that's getting like a very closely examined or very closely looked at right now. And just don't get down on yourself. Try to stay positive, like I said before, because it's probably not as bad as you think, but you might have set the bar high for yourself and you're feeling like you're coming up short of the mark. So again, keep it positive, plant your intentions. It's a new moon, write down everything, take stock of where you are. Know that if you are challenged right now, challenges do not last forever. They really don't. And once you go past the 7, you get to the 8, which is kind of like still a little challenging, but you're building. And then the 9 is like total freedom and abundance. And then the 10 wraps up the cycle for the better. So you're getting there. So that's what the 7 of Pentacles is telling us with this new moon, is to keep stock, keep planting your harvest. Take some time for some quiet reflection. 7s are also about reflection. Take some time for quiet reflection to sit with where you're at right now and really just be present and mindful. It's the best that you can do. Take really good care of yourself. Show up. I give this advice sometimes with clients that are having trouble with a specific person in their life, right? Whether it's romantic or a sibling or whatever. And it's something that if you put this into your awareness, it really does help. If you think that you're being the best version of yourself that you can be in that particular relationship, that you're doing everything that you can do, that everything that person complains about you or has said about you or whatever, and you're doing whatever you can to like kind of counteract that, like you're taking that as constructive criticism and you're doing what you believe is what they feel like or what they've told you they want you to do, right? And you're doing that, but it still isn't changing anything, let's just say, right? It still isn't changing anything. Then you know that you've done what you can do, right? So by showing up as the best version of yourself in all of your relationships, right? Treating everybody the way you want to be treated or how you think that, I think you understand what I'm saying. Bottom line is showing up in the best way you can to be aware so that you know that you've done what you can do and that whatever happens after that, you're staying true to yourself. So keep that in mind as well. Just show up as best as you can and really look at how you want to be treated in all of your relationships, and then take that and treat others that way and see if that shifts things for you, for better or for worse, because it likely will. Anyway, take really good care of yourselves. Happy new moon. I'm going to be back with another video for Mercury retrograde because I was planning on doing it in this one, but honestly, that's a whole nother ball game and I'm not doing that today. So I will come back with a video for the Mercury retrograde that's taking place on Halloween, October 31st. Even though this is like my favorite time of year, there's just such an intensity to it, which maybe is why I like it. But anyway, I will talk to you all real soon. LisaSalvatore.com. Take good care. Bye.